All right, let's bring in now Lester Munson, the former staff director on the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, also a senior fellow at the National Security Institute. Lester, thank you so much for your time. First of all, was the U.S. potentially overextended before this conflict even began between Israel and Hamas?
I can understand why people have that concern. We were involved in wars in Afghanistan and Iraq for years. The costs were huge. The results of those wars, in the case of Afghanistan, are particularly disappointing, given the U.S. withdrawal and the Taliban takeover. So I think people are right to be concerned about this issue. But I do think specifically with Ukraine, we are not overextended. Even though the cost seems high, it is a fraction of what we had been spending in Iraq and Afghanistan previously. There are no Americans, no official Americans who are at risk in that conflict. We are working entirely through the Ukrainians. And while the numbers can seem high, in the grand scheme of things, it's actually a very reasonable cost for the incredible benefit the U.S. gets on the national security front.
All right, so Lester, of course, we like to stay positive. We like to think of the glass as being half full. However, we know that there is not an unlimited supply of money and resources. So what is the worst case scenario when it comes to our military stockpile?
Well, I think the worst case scenario is if we stop supporting our friends and allies in Ukraine and Israel, and we see their adversaries start to prevail, then the cost to the United States will be much higher. A Russia on the move in the Eurasian continent, they won't stop at Ukraine. They are looking at the Baltic states next, almost for sure, possibly Moldova, which means the U.S. national security would be even more at risk. And what we would need to spend to stop the Russians would be much greater. With respect to Israel, U.S. assistance is done at a much lower rate. Israel is a fairly prosperous country. They can do a lot of this by themselves. Having the U.S. Carrier groups there in the region is very helpful. There's some cost to the U.S. for that, but not great. What they actually need in terms of materiel is relatively low compared to what our stockpiles are. There's no doubt we're going to need to spend some money to kind of refresh all of the things that we've been using in these conflicts that we've been sending to Ukraine and are sending to Israel. The cost of that is fairly reasonable in the grand scheme of things.
All right. So, Lester, the U.S. obviously supplies a lot of aid all around the world, whether it's monetarily, whether it is militarily. But are we going to have to walk back some of our support for other conflicts, some of our support for other nations in order to better support Israel?
I don't think so. The president has asked for a supplemental appropriation. That means outside of the regular budget process. It is true that the U.S. is running a budget deficit every year, and it's quite significant. So these things are not no-brainers. We do have a massive national debt issue, but the cost in the grand scheme of things for these efforts is quite small. It is on the order of about 1% of the total U.S. Government's federal budget every year. It's quite small. It is a reasonable thing to do. Our interests and our values are very much on the line in both Ukraine and Israel.
All right. So Lester, we have that massive national debt, which you just alluded to. And, we know, frankly, that is not going anywhere anytime soon. But how do we ensure that we are prepared in case this conflict does expand within the region, or to make sure that we're able to protect America if an adversary were to try and attack us on our soil?
Again, it's much better to play, I hate to use a sports metaphor because it sounds a little flip, but it's much better to play away games than home games. Hamas is a terrorist organization. In addition to trying to eradicate Israel, it also hates the United States. It is much better for us, for American national interests at the end of the day, to see Israel take on this fight. We are with them. Our troops are not on the ground, in harm's way. So that's a good thing for the United States. This is a relatively cheap thing in the rather grim calculations related to war. Similarly, in Ukraine, if Russia were to prevail, it would be incredibly bad for U.S. national interests. China would see that as a green light to move into Taiwan, almost certainly. And the cost of the U.S. having to go defend Taiwan from a Chinese invasion would be massive. Much better to do it now in Ukraine and in Israel, defend our friends and allies in the places where they're being attacked, rather than bring that fight to the United States.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.